Have you ever had an idea so good it kept you up at night? But then 3 months later, it's still just sitting in your head? That's the exact conversation I just had with my makeup artist. She had this amazing business idea, this pajama line. Brilliant. But here's the problem. She told me the exact same idea 3 months ago. So I asked her, what have you done about it? And then she said, nothing, because the problem is, and that's when I stopped her. And then I asked her, how do you even know what the problem is if you haven't even taken a single step? And that's when it hit me. This is the disease that kills more dreams than failure ever will. Welcome to Bosses, Not Beggars, the podcast for entrepreneurs, salespeople, and dreamers who are done waiting for permission and ready to build like a boss. I'm your host, Vivian Weyll, the sales queen. From $500,000 in debt to building multiple 8-figure businesses, I learned that success doesn't come from hoping, wishing, or waiting. It comes from moving. Every single week, I will drop bold truths, frameworks, and stories that flip excuses into execution so you can rise from begging to bossing. So let's get started.
This is Bosses, Not Beggars, the podcast for entrepreneurs, leaders, and sales pros who refuse to chase scraps. Here, presence replaces pressure, alignment replaces manipulation, and influence builds empires. If you're ready to trade excuses for ownership and hustle for true freedom, you're in the right place. Welcome to the movement. Bosses, Not Beggars, with Vivian Weyll, the sales queen.
Delay feels safe, but it's poison. When you delay, it feels like you were protecting yourself. It feels like you're being smart, like you're buying time. But in reality, you're bleeding time. You're losing energy, losing momentum, and training your brain to associate your dream with fear instead of excitement. Every day you wait, you make it harder to start. Let's talk about why. Science proves it. Dr. Timothy Pychyl, which is the leading voice on procrastination, says, delay isn't laziness, it's avoidance. It's your brain trying to protect you from discomfort. But the trap is this. The longer you avoid, the scarier the thing feels. Delay compounds fear. And this is where most people get it wrong. They think waiting will make them stronger. They think more time will give them more courage. But it doesn't. More time just builds a bigger wall between you and your actions. Harvard's Business Review even ran research showing that the cost of waiting in business is often higher than the cost of failing. Why? Because failure teaches you something. Failure gives you feedback, but waiting gives you nothing. While you're paused, someone else is pressing play. While you're overthinking, someone else is over-delivering. Delay doesn't protect you. It robs you. Think about how many people die with ideas still inside of them. How many businesses never get launched? How many books never get written? How many dreams never leave the notebook? All because people told themselves they needed to wait until the timing was perfect. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you the truth. There is no perfect timing. There will always be bills, distractions, challenges, kids, drama, problems. Waiting for perfect timing is like waiting for a bus that doesn't exist. Perfect timing is a myth. Progress is the only truth. So if you've been waiting, ask yourself this. What has all that waiting actually given you? More confidence? No. More peace? Absolutely not. More results? Definitely not. Waiting only ever gives you regret. The pause button is killing your future faster than any rejection ever could. And it's time we call it what it is. Here's what bosses understand. Clarity does not come before action. It actually comes from action. Every legend you admire started messy. Apple was built in a garage. Oprah launched her first show in a tiny, tiny little studio. I started in sales with zero experience. I was $500,000 in debt and no backup plan. If I had waited to feel ready, I'd still be broke. Bosses don't wait for ready. Bosses act their way into ready. Let me show you why messy action is your best friend. Action is the antidote to fear. Fear grows in stillness. The longer you sit, the louder your fear is going to become. But the moment you take a step, fear loses its power. Even a tiny little step shuts fear up because now you're proving to yourself that you're moving forward. Momentum multiplies results. Newton's first law of motion says objects in motion stay in motion. That applies to your business, your sales, your dreams. The hardest part is getting started. Once you start, momentum begins to carry you. Momentum is like the currency of success. You earn it through messy action. Now, action builds evidence. Most people say, I need confidence before I start it. No, wrong. What you need is evidence. Every step you take gives your brain proof that you're capable. And that evidence stacks up until you become unstoppable. Psychologist Albert Bandura proved that confidence is built through mastery experiences. That means the only way to build belief is through repeated action, not thinking, not waiting, not planning, but doing. Your brain rewards progress. Neuroscience tells us dopamine, the brain motivation chemical, it spikes when you make progress. Not when you think about progress, not when you talk about progress, when you actually do something. That's why one tiny step feels better than 100 perfect plans. Progress is addictive. The more you move, the more you want to move. I remember when I first picked up the phone for the first time in sales, I was terrified. My hand was shaking. I had no idea what I was doing. But after that first call, I realized, oh my God, I survived. Then after 10 calls, I realized I'm getting better. After 100 calls, I realized I'm a closer. None of that came from confidence. It came from action. So the question isn't, are you ready? The real question is, are you willing to move messy? Because messy builds momentum, and momentum builds mastery. Let me make this plain. There are beggar moves and boss moves. Beggar move, waiting for permission. Boss move, deciding and doing. Beggar move, making excuses before testing. Boss move, testing before judging. Beggar move, waiting until it's perfect. Boss move, starting messy and improving as you go. Begging waits. Bossing builds. The difference between a beggar and a boss isn't talent, it's action. Beggars dream, bosses do. So here's your boss move of the week. I want you to pick one idea you've been sitting on. Not 5, not 10, one. And in the next 24 hours, take one undeniable step towards it. Write the first page, shoot the first video, call the first client, order the sample. Don't wait until Monday. Don't wait until January. Don't wait until you feel ready. Because if you wait, you're begging. And bosses don't beg, Your boss move starts now, not later, not someday, right now. Your future does not care about your excuses. It only cares about your execution. That idea in your heart, it's not random. It's calling. And if you don't move on it, you're betraying the future you say you want. The world doesn't need more dreamers. The world needs more builders. And here's the truth. Your family, your community, your legacy, they're all waiting on you to step up. Every time you delay, you don't just rob yourself. You rob the people who need what you are carrying. Think about it. How many lives could your idea impact if you stopped waiting? How many jobs could it create? How many clients could you serve? How many families could it change? When you delay, you don't just delay your dream. You delay someone else's breakthrough. And here's what I know. People don't remember the ones who almost started. History remembers the ones who showed up scared, messy, unprepared, and built anyway. Beggars sit on the corner waiting for an opportunity to knock. Bosses build the damn door. Stop waiting for doors to open. Bosses build doors. So today, I want you to make a decision. Are you going to stay a beggar? Waiting for perfect timing, waiting for confidence, waiting for clarity? Or are you going to be a boss moving with what you've got right now? Because everything changes the moment you move. Your identity changes, your belief changes, your results change. So stop waiting. Start moving. And if this episode hit you, make sure to share it. Make sure to tag our Instagram page, Bosses, Not Beggars, and DM me your boss move of the week. I want to celebrate your momentum with you. And for deeper strategies to influence, sell, and lead like a boss, grab my free training, the Influence Code at vivianweyll.com. Remember, bosses don't wait. Bosses don't beg. Bosses build. I'll see you next week.